Good day, everyone. We have a special treat for you today. Today we have Jay Lee, the co-founder of Pronuvia. Now, what you're going to be finding out today is we're going to be sharing information with you that deals with the biggest breakthrough in nutrition in the last 100 years. Hey, Jay.
Hello, Dr. Wolfe. Thank you for having me here today.
Well, it's my pleasure and it's an honor because of the information that you're going to be sharing today is not just life-changing, but in lots of cases, it's life-saving. So
it is.
Yes.
Well, I'd like to start out by introducing our research team. Pronuvia works together with brilliant minds, people who are running Calcium and Bone Health Institute in Canada and NTS Research. They've been working together with Canadian government and South Korean government, as well as many research teams around the world and many universities. And I consider the invention of SACcalcium to be the most amazing invention. It really changed the lives of so many people. And today, I'd like to really go into how SACcalcium really works. How is it different? And we call it invention of new calcium carbonate. I mean, how can you call a calcium that you find everywhere in the world, and then you say it's a new invention? It is an invention because it's something that you have never seen, never heard. And when we applied it in human health, we found out it's doing amazing things.
And also, with the information that I've looked over as well, they never thought it could be done. Nobody thought that they could actually create a calcium treatment, ionic treatment like this, because everybody thought it was impossible on a scientific level and on a nutritional level, right?
That's right. I mean, all this time we knew how important calcium is for our health. It's probably most often studied the single mineral nutrient. But we're only talking about calcium supplementation. We find out that, you need calcium, you're calcium deficient, you got to have more calcium. But we're talking about today, not calcium supplementation. We're talking about calcium therapy. One specific form of calcium that our body uses, which is calcium ion. Calcium ion is the only physiologically active form of calcium. Of course, you have protein calcium, you have other inactive calcium in your body,
but they can't be utilized.
That's right. The thing is that our body has to actually harvest calcium ion from this calcium in order to use it. Right?
But to do that, you have to have the right hormones, and you've got to have the right amount of energy and
lifestyle.
Yeah, and so that's out the door. But and then you've got to be at least younger than 35 usually.
Well, that's true. You know why? Because it is true that we are building our bone, and then we are actually accumulating calcium source in our bone up to age 35. But age 40 plateaus, and then from then on, it's downhill. Whenever you need calcium ion in your body, instead of getting it from this inactive calcium in your body, like protein calcium, getting from your supplementation or from food, when you need calcium ion, it goes to your bone and taking out in ionic form.
So what you said is after the age of 35, definitely 40, we're looking at a downhill in the way of calcium ion production, which is the only type of calcium that our body can utilize. That's right. You were saying that went downhill. So as that goes downhill, what goes downhill also? Your sex drive, everything on your body starts to fall down because calcium is the structure of everything hormonally and physically. So, people don't realize it, but ion calcium plays the major role when it comes to longevity and the quality of health.
Yeah. I mean, you got to look at what the role of a calcium ion is in our body.
Right.
It's almost everything. Well, bone and teeth. But do you know that your heart needs good source of calcium ion to pump, your muscle to contract? I mean, the integrity of the cell membranes and enzyme activation and hormone secretion.
Mitochondria
for energy production. All of that, it's a neurotransmitter.
Over 100,000 different chemical and hormonal processes are happening every second due to the ionic calcium.
That's right. You just have to have the right concentration of calcium ion everywhere in your body. If it's too low or if too high, then you're in trouble. Because our body's signaling, how our body communicates, it depends on the concentration of calcium ion. But sometimes when you're getting older, you could have too much in one place and too little in another place.
Yeah, and also, let's be honest here. We have never lived in a time, period, where conflict and anxiety has been at this level. And we know that the more conflict and anxiety you have, the more you draw on your calcium, and then you misplace it, displace it in your joints and organs.
That's right. That's right. As you age, your lifestyle changes. We are more sedentary, and then we're consuming junk food, and we're more stressed out. And all these are using up your calcium ions. Your body part it's fighting for calcium ion. So more and more you're taking out from your bone. But this is very important. So let's say you have good amount of calcium stored in your bone. Well, what's wrong taking it out from your bone? You got to know the calcium ion coming out from bone is called bad calcium. Why? Because it's coming out together with phosphorus. Now there's a cofactor that if you have too much calcium ion and phosphorus together, it calcifies your body.
Yeah. You know, hey, Grandpa, you're as stiff as a board. Those calcium deposits that are in your breast, those calcium deposits that are in your gallbladder, your kidneys, those calcium deposits that are through every joint of your body by the time you're around 50, 60 years old.
That's right.
And I know, because when we do Wolfe Deep Tissue, we're going in there at snap, crackle, pop, because we're trying to get all these, you want to call them bone spurs, want to call them floaters, but you've got calcium chunks, crystallization, and all this scar tissue formation from the inflammation, and then pulling all that calcium in, rock solid.
That's right. You'd be amazed. It's sometimes not calcium deficiency, but you're actually putting too much calcium through supplementation. And a lot of the calcification also comes from your own calcium from your bone. As we age, our parathyroid hormone actually takes more calcium from our bone than needed. So what happens to the excess calcium you're taking out from your bone? Some of them are excreted, but a lot of them is accumulated in your body. So you're actually moving calcium from your bone to your tissue where you shouldn't have. So too much calcium accumulating in the wrong places. That's the major cause of many degenerative diseases.
And then there's 2 points to be made here. And the one point that you said, the only calcium product, which is not a product, this is not a product, it's a treatment, but let's call it a product for a second.
Okay.
The only calcium product that actually does what it's supposed to do is SACcalcium, and that's scientifically documented and proven.
Yeah, that's because SACcalcium is the world's first and only calcium ion delivery system. What our body really needs is ionic form of calcium. All the other form goes in as protein calcium. It's a standby calcium. Our body can use it when you're active and younger and you have more growth hormone and sex hormone and all that. But as you are aging, you're not going to be able to utilize that protein calcium that well. So when the body needs good amount of calcium ion right away, then it has to get it from your bones.
So let's make this really clear to all our audience out there. Okay, so we know that this product has the ability, like a magnet, to pull all the calcium that's been displaced and misplaced from the body back into the bone, and also to actually take on over 100,000 chemical and hormonal processes, plus get you back to a position that you're actually making bone and breaking down bone as if you were a 35-year-old healthy person.
Exactly, Dr. Wolfe. Now, this is very interesting because we're putting a very small amount of calcium, but in ionic form. Each dose is about 5 milligrams. Now, compare that with other calcium supplementation. That's 300, 500, 700, 1,000, and even 1,200, right? And you'll be only able to absorb a fraction of that anyways. But then all of that absorbed is in protein form. Right? But just putting in 5 milligrams of calcium ion can trigger responses in your system, right? It's going to stimulate your thyroid to produce calcitonin, which is going to start massive osteoblast, which is a bone building process. Interesting, because when that is activated, what it's going to do is our body is going to be utilizing all the other excess inactive calcium, whether it's protein calcium, inorganic calcium, or even calcium deposits all across your body. Your body's going to extract calcium from the wrong places and bring it back to where it belongs, which is your bones.
So if everybody out there, if you're listening to this, then what they need to understand is this. This is the true anti-aging product.
I believe so.
Yes.
I believe so, because if all the diseases, degenerative diseases, the cause of oxidation, all of that is coming because of misplaced calcium. And for the first time, if you can restore calcium homeostasis, which, by the way, is going to break down for everybody as they age, then we can reverse a lot of these conditions.